Hello and welcome back to the Faithful TV. This week's video on the agenda we have Spurs coming to Old Trafford, should United avoid big name summer signings, and just why does Louis van Gaal hate Rafael. So we'll start with Spurs coming to Old Trafford. Their North London neighbours visited Old Trafford earlier this week and basically knocked us out of the cup in what was anti-climax, so to speak. Nobody likes going out of any cup competition, but if we're going to be honest, we all thought we could win the FA Cup this year with Chelsea and City going out. So to be turned over in our own backyard by a very average Arsenal side was pretty heartbreaking to say the least. None of us particularly liked it. The referee was rubbish, but when you're Di Maria, you can't be laying your hands on a ref the way he did. There's no excuse for that sort of behaviour. So lo and behold, we are out of the cup. Like I say, we move on to the Spurs game this weekend. If Spurs win, they move on to level points with us. They've won at Old Trafford the last 2 times they've been there. Earlier this season we got a 0-0 draw at their place down at White Hart Lane, a game we should have won. We missed a few chances, and going into this game you've got to remain confident because we've only lost 3 times in 23 games. The performance against Arsenal wasn't that bad. The result was terrible, but the performance wasn't that bad. You can see what Van Gaal's philosophy is. He wants, quick tempo, passing, keeping hold of the ball. If we don't lose the ball, the opposition can't score. The problem is, for a long period of the season, we were keeping the ball and not creating anything. But against Arsenal, we did create a few chances. So I'm confident that the philosophy will eventually work, and we will start creating a few chances and scoring more goals. We have to beat Spurs if we want to hold any hope of getting into the top 4. We have to beat Spurs. It's all we've got to play for now, but sadly it's all Spurs have got to play for as well, having lost the Capital One Cup final to Chelsea a few weeks ago. So like I say, if Spurs win, they're on level points with us. Arsenal beating West Ham today. We need to keep the pressure on. So yeah, Harry Kane, a man in form, Christian Eriksen, a real good talent. Spurs will pose a lot of threats to our shaky defence. No Di Maria after that red card. Januzaj hopefully will start, add a bit of pace to the team. But I'm confident we can beat them. I always go into games confident. We're Man United after all. It's at Old Trafford after all. So yeah, bring them on. I think a 2-1 win. The next thing on the agenda then is, should United avoid big name summer signings? Now, not to state the obvious, but the boys we brought in this summer, Marcos Rojo and Daley Blind, weren't that high profile, and they're the 2 guys that have done the best, I would say. Falcao and Di Maria came in with huge reputations, a lot of expectation, and Falcao's been rubbish and Di Maria has been nothing better than okay. Now if you go back through the years, you look at the very famous Veron signing. He was brought to the club with a massive reputation, and again he didn't really do much. He was only kept there for a little while until we sold him on to Chelsea. United have got a history of buying, players with potential or young talented players and bringing them through how we want to. I vote we go back to that. I think there's a lot of good players out there that we could make better if we brought to Old Trafford. And I know West Brom striker Berahino has been mentioned a few times. A lot of you guys have said to me on Twitter he's got an attitude problem, or we don't need him because we've got James Wilson. But I think I would rather spend 20 million on somebody like Berahino than I would rather than spend 50 million on someone like Cavani. It's just the way I see it. I think bringing big names to United doesn't always work. Fair enough, Van Persie worked a couple of years ago. Let's not forget that. But fundamentally, I think when you look at our history, we sign players who have got potential and we turn them into world beaters. And I'd like to carry on down that road, buying players that got potential, if you like. They don't have to be 17, they don't have to be 18 years old, but like the likes of Daley Blind, he wasn't a £50 million Vidal. He was he was cost effective, but he goes about his job brilliantly, and he has been good for us. So that's my view on that. I'm sure some of you disagree and you want world famous players brought in, but it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? And finally, why does Louis van Gaal hate Rafael? He's back to full fitness. He scored for the under-21s earlier this week, but Van Gaal keeps opting for Valencia at right back, and when it's not Valencia, it's Phil Jones. So I'm not really sure what the problem is. Again, a few of you have pointed out that first impressions count, and you don't get a second chance at making a first impression. And Rafael, a few years ago in the Champions League, when Van Gaal was managing Bayern Munich, we were coasting in the game, and Rafael lost his head, got sent off, and we got knocked out. Now, if that's the case, and an elephant never forgets, I think it's a bit harsh, because to sort of crucify a player in your squad for something he'd done before he was even manager seems a bit silly. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually a thing, if that's what's going on. My own opinion on Rafael is, it's just like a lot of these Brazilian guys. When he joined us as a kid, there was so much hype surrounding him, and his potential was amazing. The game he played away against Arsenal, when he scored, we lost 2-1, but he scored a consolation goal. It was a very good goal, and he looked excellent, going for, always bombing forward, offering attacking options as well as doing his defensive stuff. But the problem is, he hasn't progressed. This is quite a common thing, that he's no better than the player we brought in, and this goes for the same for Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. These guys are no better than when we first bought them. Now, for Rafael, he's been there a very, very long time, longer than those guys, and he should be better than he is. So obviously the boss doesn't trust him. He likes putting a winger at right back in Valencia. I would like to see Rafael get back in the side. I think he's a good player. I think he's done a lot for the club, and I think he can go on to do a lot for the club. It's not my decision, but I just think that Van Gaal's biding his time until he can bring in somebody that he wants, whether it be Dani Alves, Seamus Coleman, Nathaniel Klein. These are all players that have been linked with us, and I do think Rafael will be gone come summer. I think there'll be a few of them that will be gone, but sadly I think Rafael will be one, although I don't think he deserves to go. So this has been a short but sweet video, because there's not much has happened since the Arsenal game. I took a bit of stick online because I said Michael Oliver had a bad game, and I stand by it. Fair enough, he booked a couple of our boys for diving, but if you look at the Di Maria dive, the guy had hold of his wrist. Harry Kane won a penalty for that against West Ham a few weeks ago. Someone had hold of his wrist, he went down, it was a penalty. When Di Maria does it, it's a dive. But Di Maria shouldn't have grabbed Oliver's shirt, and he did deserve a card for that. But the thing that really, I was going to swear then, but the thing that really got me about that game is he bottled sending Bellerin off, the Arsenal defender, but he was quite happy to throw the cards around for United, but when it came to Arsenal he didn't bother. So that was my only gripe with the referee from that game. So hopefully we don't get Michael Oliver this weekend to taking charge of the game, but I am confident we will win. I think we'll keep Harry Kane under wraps, and I think we will keep the pressure on Arsenal in that third place. So subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you want to talk to me directly, I'm on Twitter. It's at Nathon W. That's at NATHONW. I'll see you at Old Trafford tomorrow. If I see you, I see you. Say hello. Keep watching these videos, and talk to us all on Twitter. Lovely. Cheers. See ya.